I want to start this video off by thanking a few people in the comment section who said I should change the reticle ranging to be on my mouse wheel. And yes, that does make hitting tanks at range a lot easier. So that was a really good tip, and I greatly appreciate it. Keep them coming, and who knows, maybe someday I'll be decent at War Thunder. But yeah, let's get on with the rest of the video. Okay, so I finally got the Tiger 1 unlocked. Been playing it a lot. Really enjoy the Tiger 1, especially once I got most of the field mods or modifications done. It just got better and better. It's probably the best lineup that I think I have at the 5.7 range, in my opinion. The Nashorn, you know, I bet it's 5.3, but the Nashorn, I struggle with it. The Panther D does okay. The Panzer 470 I actually really enjoy. It's a very good sniper, very fast round. And the Oswin, honestly, for anti-air, I still struggle shooting down planes with it, but I probably got more tank kills than plane kills with it, but it's still a lot of fun to play. But the Tiger 1 for me still is the show, and part of it is because it's a big reason why I got into tank games in the first place. The Tiger 1, the Tiger 2, the M60, the Abrams, these are all kind of like legendary tanks. And the Tiger 1 out of that list kind of holds a unique position of both being one of the best tanks and worst tanks of World War II. And this is interesting. In game, it's not really a problem because, in game we don't have to worry about logistics. But, the Germans, when they built this thing, well, I think it was supposed to be like a 30-ton tank, and then it went up to like 57 tons, kind of estimating off memory. But they didn't upgrade the engine or anything, so it was always underpowered. But I don't, it's kind of funny. Like, when I think of the Tiger 1, I think of a peacetime tank. It's a tank you build during peacetime. You build the infrastructure around to support it, and when war comes, you have a really good vehicle. But the Germans, well, they decided to do it in the middle of a war, and I guess I can understand where they were coming from. They were like, we can't mass produce anything because we're getting bombed by everybody because we went out and declared war on the world. But yeah, there you go. They just thought they'd build a better tank than everybody else that consumed way more fuel when they didn't have any fuel. And then also forgetting, now you have this really heavy tank that you have to build, special cranes for and special vehicles to tow. And, it also had a problem on their crane system. Like it was too wide, so they had to put special tracks on it. And once it got to the location, they had to replace the tracks, unload it, or the whole thing was a logistical mess. I think General Pershing, commander of the American forces during World War I, said it best: infantry wins battles, but logistics win wars. And the story of the Tiger 1 in World War II is a logistical failure, regardless of how brilliant its engineering may have been. And I realize that may be debatable to people, but yeah, I still think it's a cool tank. And when I'm playing this thing in game, honestly, I feel like I could beat anyone blindfolded. However, if they're not blindfolded, I might have a problem. But, so one thing I would want to point out on the Tiger, if you're new to the game, is the proper shell you should be using. So the base shell on this one has 162 millimeters of pin with 108 grams of TNT. And you get an upgraded shell that has 151 millimeters of penetration and 215 grams of TNT, basically twice as much TNT. Technically, I found this shell is better, and this is what everyone has kind of told me I should be using. And yes, it does work better for me. So especially if you're coming over from World of Tanks, like, you probably wonder why the base shell has a little bit more penetration. Penetration is not always the end-all be-all in War Thunder, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, this shell right here is nasty and is really good at knocking out crews if you get a penetrating shot. So yeah, that's one thing I'm still kind of struggling with is when to use certain ammunition. I believe this one can be really good, but I'm not good enough to make it work. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you're new to the game, not always the most pin is best round. So think about the how well it kills the crew behind it. That's something that as a new player, I still struggle with from time to time of knowing what to shoot. Okay, so next up we have the Panther tank, and here's what I'm going to say about the Panther tank. I don't like it in game, especially at the 5.7. The 6.0s, this changes a little bit, but my gosh, look at the turret turn on this thing. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I end up basically playing this thing like a tank destroyer and just turning the hull toward the tank and using the turret to kind of hopefully get on target once I kind of got the turret pointed in the right direction. It's a sniper. It doesn't really do well in brawls, mostly because the turret traverse, but you know, again, another iconic World War II tank. I know some people will probably argue it's the finest tank made during the war. I don't personally share this belief. I think it's probably one of the overrated. It had a lot of fire issues. It had a lot of mechanical issues and breakdowns. And then, yes, I know. The Germans were constantly being bombed, and it was hard to keep, you know, all their industrial mechanical standards, engineering standards to the highest par. But, you know, even after the war, the French got a hold of some Panthers, and they managed to get the final drive issues kind of worked out to where it could average about 150 kilometers before it would break down, which was better than the Germans, which were about 80. Oftentimes, Allied forces would find abandoned Panthers during the war that, you know, because they broke down, the Germans would abandon them or destroy them themselves. But still, you know, if I was in an Allied tank, this would not be the enemy tank I would prefer to be seen by. It was a deadly machine, to be sure, if you came across it. Yeah, it just, in my opinion, just overrated. I think it's the mythos behind it is definitely more than its actual historical combat effectiveness. In game, my only qualm is you know the shell is, I'm gonna say, if you're a really experienced player and you know where to shoot tanks, this thing is incredibly deadly. The shell trajectory is flat, it's high velocity gun. But for me as a newbie, I find like the TNT equivalent in the shells isn't really great at knocking out crews. So it's a little less, it's more, it's not as forgiving as some other tanks in the game, especially like the Tiger, for instance. But still, I mean, iconic World War II tank, and it's kind of cool that I can take it actually out and play it some. So the Panzer 470, another 5.7 vehicle. I do actually like this tank better than the Panther D. Historically, this vehicle, I know actually very little about it, other than it largely the reason the Germans built it was because their manufacturing sector was constantly being bombed, and this was easier to produce. And yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I think, considering the circumstances, this is actually came out to be a very good tank. In game, I actually really like this tank from a sniper standpoint. Its low profile means that you can sit in positions and not get noticed. The gun is very high velocity. As you can see, my teammates over here, they're shooting at something. And just going to show you how this thing kind of works. Yeah, let's take a look at this thing. He's pretty far off. My first shot, it was a little bit low. So while I'm reloading, I just get at the range. I think this guy is tracked. My thought on him was, this is knock out his gun. I don't know what I'm shooting at here. It looks like some kind of M4 or something or another. Probably a jumbo. To me, if I can't pin it, it's probably a jumbo. I can't tell them apart, and that's that's a methane problem. Eventually, I will start recognizing these tanks, but after not being able to knock his gun, I decided to go for the machine gun port. Just a slight miss, so I carefully try to just move my reticle to the left again, and then next shot, right through. So this tank I actually like. It's got basically the same gun, in my opinion, as the Panther D. I had to look, but it seems to, as I recall, it had similar penetration and about the same TNT per shot, so you do need to place your shots pretty well. But its advantage, decent armor, and by War Thunder standards of decent, I mean it will occasionally bounce rounds, especially from the front. Other than that, its low profile means that oftentimes, like little dips or ditches, you can more or less be hidden from the enemy. And I found this tank to be pretty good. I'm actually really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next series of tank destroyers, particularly the Jag Tiger. That one I actually do know a little bit about historically. Same thing with the Ferdinand, also known as the Elephant. So yeah, I'll be looking out for a video on those. I also got the Tiger 2 coming up, and I'm just honestly just enjoying the grind right now. So you guys have a good one, and hopefully I can get another video out this week if I can not be so busy. And for now, keep tanking, guys. Hope to see you in a match.